Oh, my God, Rob.
504 Talk Radio 790 KBC. It's The Drive Home.
Hello.
With Jillian Barbary. Hello. And John Phillips. Rob Marinko here in for John Phillips. So the biggest story, it just seems like that won't go away now, is Harvey Weinstein.
Right.
And all of his alleged crimes and all of the women coming out that are claiming he did something to them. Mm-hmm. A lot of very bad things, obviously. Well, we have a legal expert to see if maybe one of these things could get him tossed in the can for a while. I mean, the jail, the Gray Bar Hotel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Listen, a lot of things I was thinking could have probably, the rape allegations that have come out, there's been, 3 women, I think. So that's a little different, right?
We have DEBRA OPRI, who is a legal analyst and litigator. DEBRA, welcome to the show.
Hi, DEBRA.
Hey, how are you?
Well, we're good. You know, every time I seem to get onto my Twitter account, I see an update on Harvey, and it involves alleged rape, or it's one-upping the last person. What's the latest, and will he go down for this?
Well, there are now open investigations in a few cities. I don't know if Los Angeles has joined, but if criminal charges do start being filed, he's got a mess. His career, and I heard it from someone when it was first broke, they said he's done. There's no way he could fix this. His career is over. I mean,
that's
I don't
kind of how
think
I feel.
going to touch him.
But again,
you?
No, I agree with you. Although I'll throw a name out there, Roman Polanski. And I'll throw another name, Woody Allen. I mean, this naked pictures of Mia Farrow's daughter, spread eagle, naked. I mean, wow. And he came back, and Roman, 13 years old, and he's won Oscars since.
Well, no. Charges weren't filed, and this was his personal life. It's different because with what Harvey Weinstein did, he made it part of the business.
Yeah, he did. You're right. It was an abuse of power. That's
the difference between the other two.
Yep.
From what I understand, he's out of the company. The company's probably going to be sold fast.
Oh, Bob must be just ready to punch him in the cojones.
Well, the brother is not holding back. He's made various comments to the press, and he's not hiding his emotion because in the end, he has the same last name, and it's sad.
Yeah, the brother said, Bob has said that he's a victim as well. He just made that comment, and I guess, you could, if you look at it that way.
No, don't go that far.
No, okay,
he's
all right.
He's a victim who knew what was going on. I just read an article by one of the young people who was discovered by Weinstein a number of years ago, and he said, we all bleeping knew.
DEBRA,
we all knew.
Wow.
We're talking to DEBRA OPRI, a legal analyst and litigator. DEBRA, clear something up, if you would, for me, and that is the fact that Harvey Weinstein went to Arizona for treatment is not insignificant because there's plenty of rehab places here in California, and that is
No, it is. Look, it's insignificant to me because he knew what he was, he knew who he was, and he knew what he was.
So this is a PR thing.
No, I'm not talking about whether he went. I'm talking about where he went in Arizona.
Why is that a big deal? I know a lot of stars have gone there.
Yeah, it's a PR stunt, and it's supposed to be a luxury, hint, hint, a luxury facility. So he's not going to be looked at by a TMZ. It's pretty much shut down. The public really doesn't. So that's why he's there.
Fair enough. So it's not because he's afraid that California will grab his passport or a DA will come. It's not that reason.
He's going where it's
convenient for him.
It's a foo-foo thing. He's just going where it's convenient for him.
And a lot of celebrities, they've gone there. It's for eating disorders. It's for, substance abuse. It's for drinking. It's for a little bit of everything. It's kind of, Kate Moss has gone there. So that'll give you an idea.
You wanted to see the real Harvey Weinstein? It's when he was getting into the vehicle when they caught him getting in, and he had a little temper flare.
Yes.
It was a form of bullying.
Yeah.
It was basically he was telling them, I was there for you guys when everybody else treated you like bleeping.
Did you see
that? He was bullying.
I did.
Yeah, he was directing the entire paparazzi on how to cover him.
How to treat him and coddle him. He
right.
wants to be coddled. He wants people to say, oh, poor Harvey, you have a problem. But it goes far beyond that. It was an abuse of power. His company has it's going to be sold. The name will disappear. And everyone who sat there and said, pay him off, and these arbitration clauses, everything's confidential, I really think this is a time to have a dialogue about the law and how it handles sexual harassment claims within these companies. I don't think these things should be pushed under the rug with these quiet, confidential
agreements.
mediation.
Well, also, it was written into his contract, as TMZ broke on Friday, and I was like, what? Being able to sexually assault young girls is in your contract? That's effed up, A. And then B, I'm glad that he's getting stripped of all of his titles. I love it. The Academy has said, you're out. And right now, Macron in France has said, we're going to strip you of that title. Everyone is kind of following suit, and I'm glad, because he's a big poster boy. He's a...
I had a niece visiting, and she said, what is the most astounding thing of this story? I said, the most astounding thing for me is when the Academy of Arts and Sciences, for the first time in its history, punished someone for doing what is probably
the norm,
very routine.
Yeah.
The world is changing.
Thank God.
Speaking of the norm, Deborah, I'm curious, what advice would you have for a woman who is, and it doesn't have to be show business, it could be anything.
Because it happens in every
It does, sure it does, sure, and there's no
well,
denying that.
It happened to you. I'm sure it did. It happened to me.
You know what's funny? I was saying...
my advice?
Your advice, because if they're fearful about coming forward, I would assume your advice is going to be get legal representation, correct, first of all, or no?
Of course, but the first thing you say when it's happening is,
stop.
I feel you're sexually harassing me.
Okay.
And they right away, they're going to freeze frame, and they're going to say there's a lot of other girls out there. But, I can help your career. How many times have you heard that, Jillian? I can help your career.
I wish I had heard it once, but yeah.
I was in the studios when I was interning, and they see the young girls, and that's just the way it is.
I was saying to Rob earlier that, sexual intimidation, harassment comes in many sizes. And although I didn't face it, and I have a couple of instances that I could, but I really, when I worked at 14, 15 years old at Burger King, I remember getting called in by my 23-year-old manager, and he was, he drove a Trans Am, and he had pimples, and he had a perm, which was, let's not hold that against him. But he did say to me, your uniform is too loose. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, it needs to be way tighter to show off your figure. Like, why did you get a medium? You're small. You're a small woman. It's baggy. I'm 15. Guess what I did? Jillian went and got the small because I don't know any different. I'm thinking, okay, he's my boss. That's a form of, now I look back and, back then I was ignorant. Now I know what that was. But
we're more educated today. We do have the internet. It does have good service to educating people. And there are many people out there who, because of this dialogue that's happening because of Harvey Weinstein and Fox News and all those other people, I can't even remember it now. But it's building.
Thank God. It's all the same. It's the Roger Ailes of the world, the Harvey Weinsteins, abuse of power, using their position. And I'm glad that there's a dialogue, because for women like your niece who are they're the next generation, I want them to feel that they can speak up, that their voice means something.
Jillian, you're right. And you know what really got me? It was the look in her face when she asked me about that. And when I told her how it had hit me with the Academy Arts and Sciences, how this is the first time in history, there was a little disappointment in her face, as if to say, well, she's not telling me what I want to hear. And I asked her, I said, has this happened to you? And that film comes over the face. It's like they don't really know if it has.
Yes,
they don't really know if it hasn't.
Yes.
So I invite any woman out there who believes that they've been sexually harassed, go online, get my info, get in touch with me. I will talk to you. That's my service to you.
Awesome.
Deborah, I'm curious, do you believe that Lisa Bloom's, how bad has this hurt Lisa Bloom, representing Weinstein?
Good
and then
question.
I know Lisa Bloom. I think, like many others, there might have been a form of a loyalty she felt.
Because of her book/series deal?
I think he had optioned something, and maybe he asked her. It's everything I'm saying is my opinion. Maybe this, maybe that.
Fine.
Sure.
I haven't spoken to her about this, but I was a little disappointed, because you gotta know who you are as an attorney. It's just you have to know where your line is drawn, and it's just she backed out very quietly and all that, and she was out there defending him, and I think he called her to service. I think he and this is my opinion again, I think he might have said, I need a favor from you. And she having that deal right there on the horizon, rather than saying, I don't feel comfortable doing this, because if it's true, you got a lot of problems, and I can't be involved.
Yeah, no,
But, maybe in his way he bullied her. Who knows?
Who knows? And, at first I thought, well, listen, Johnny Cochran defended O.J. Simpson. Everybody has a job. She's an attorney. However, when you're known for being an advocate for women's issues or a victim's advocate, then I think it stings extra because of it.
You weren't very impressed. Didn't your viewpoint of her change in any way?
No, it didn't, I have to say, because I felt like, okay, she's doing a job, and I know she had a deal, and this is how Hollywood works. But no, I know, I'm like you. I know Lisa for 25 years, and I know Gloria. It didn't change my opinion of her. I felt like...
I thought it was a poor choice, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of attorneys have made them over the years. But look, I met Johnny Cochran when he was defending O.J., and I happen to believe that O.J. killed Ron and Nicole. And I remember thinking, how can you defend? And he came to Fox when I was on the morning show, and he was treated like a god. People lined up for his autograph, and I thought, oh my God, he got a mirror. But then later, took me 10 years, and I said, he was doing a job, and he did one hell of a job.
A hell of a job and a good paycheck.
But he's not a
known.
Johnny Cochran never took sides.
No, you're right.
And became a prosecutor.
Yep.
Johnny Cochran always provided defense work.
No, you're 100% right, Deborah.
We're talking to Deborah Opri, a legal analyst and litigator. Deborah, I hate to do this to you, but playing the devil's advocate, what would you do if you were Weinstein's attorney representing him? What would be the next step?
I understand he hired Patty Glazer, who I know.
Oh, okay.
And I understand he went to a PR person that I believe Patty may or may not work with.
Let me interject, Deborah, because you know this. I'm sorry to interrupt. Is that a very tactical movement that you hire a woman because
that's no
right?
point.
No. I don't think he hired a woman versus a man. I think he hired somebody who's very proficient in matters of what he needs her for. He needs her to do what she needs to do for him regarding his interest in that company. Okay. And I think that's what that's for. And I don't think he would hire her to be his defense attorney if he would be charged.
Okay.
But he just went to what he considers to be the better person for that corporate thing he has to work out with in the company. I mean, if he brought down the value of that company with his actions,
right?
Versus how many things did they know about his sexual harassment settlements, which I'm sure the board had to approve. It's going to be a web, and I think Patty Glazer would be the right person for him with that corporate issue.
Well, you totally proved me wrong.
We just assume like a woman to make it feel. I mean, that might be sexist. No,
I don't think that was an issue for him.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Okay. Fair enough. I'm wondering if you know the situation here in Los Angeles, Deborah. If the DA's office might have any, and I hate to put you in this spot too, but if the DA's office here in Los Angeles may have any conflicts of interest, because it is an industry town after all, and a lot of business comes from. It
is an industry town, and if there's anything that's going to come down the pike with the criminal charges, they're going to make sure they have everything to justify a charge.
Mm-hmm. It's not going to be frivolous.
I don't think that matter is a long way off, but I don't think it's around the corner either. There's a lot of things that are still surfacing, and there's going to be a big puzzle that they have to figure out as concerns Harvey Weinstein. I'm sorry for all of us in this entertainment industry. I'm sorry that it had to get to this point of a dam breaking. And you can see with the Roger Ailes, with the Bill O'Reilly, with whoever else is out there, it's just snowballing to the point of who is going to have the next shoe drop.
Yeah.
Well,
who is next?
I agree. Will it be a woman? I doubt it. I don't think women abuse power like that. I just don't.
Deborah, let's say that a woman...
they do, but maybe not to that extent.
Let's say a woman has taken a check, a payoff from Weinstein.
Which Rose McGowan did, and she's been the big advocate of this.
But let's say there's a criminal investigation, and it uncovers a criminal activity involving the woman that took a payoff. But, in her agreement with Weinstein Company or whoever gave her the money, in the agreement, it's saying, you're not going to testify against, you're dropping this case. But doesn't the DA in a criminal matter?
Aren't we talking about Bill Cosby? Isn't that what happened with him?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly what happened with him, because the evidence was
possible. Anything is possible. But Jillian, I want to say this to you personally.
Yeah.
Known you a long time, and you've known me for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I am angry about this. I am angry that it had to get to this point with everybody saying you knew, and you did nothing, Yeah. It's been rampant. I've been in Los Angeles for 32 years. Mm-hmm. This is not new stuff.
Deborah,
new.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm sure we'll have you on again.
Thank God the dialogue is open. I'm so glad, and I'm glad that you brought your niece up into this, because I 100% agree with you. Gosh.
Deborah Opri, a legal analyst and litigator. Thanks again, Deborah. This is Talk Radio 790 KBC. It's 5:20. You're listening to The Drive Home, and with Jillian Barberie and John Phillips. Rob Marinko in for John.
We'll be back.